what I wanted to do anyway, y'all, tonight was just talk. I'm not really going to take any questions or comments. For one, I'm tired, and I don't think that I can do a live on Thursday. I'm, trying this. Maybe top of the week is probably a little bit better. But I'm glad of the 10 people that I can go ahead and talk about this, to talk about triggers and responses. And what I planned to do was talk about like some of my triggers. Can y'all see my shirt, Black Mental Health? Can y'all let me know if you can see my shirt? Yeah. What I wanted to do is just talk about times that I have been triggered, and the way I responded. And in some ways I responded well, in some ways I didn't respond, so well. But if I circle back to, why I wanted to do this live, it is with what happened, what I believe happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. And I really don't feel like going back and forth with that, because we all have our different opinions that really came from our experiences. So it's not whether somebody's right or wrong, it's just different. And different doesn't mean right or wrong. But what I believe happened, because I read Will's book, I believe his trigger, kind of what everybody else is saying, that at 9 years old, he could not protect his mom. His mom was beat in front of him, and this trigger warning for this, y'all. But his mother was beat in front of him. He couldn't protect her. And I think his little brother kind of rose up against his mom. Against his father. His little brother was not scared and rose up against his father. And Will felt like he cowered. And in his book, he talked about even kind of being like a watered down rapper. Always thinking he was not enough. So he wore his insecurities with him, with whatever's going on with Jada. And then again, this is just my opinion. I didn't know about the alopecia story. She's sick, and he knew and felt like, again, he was disrespected. So he had to get up and do something and avenge, I believe, that wounded little boy, which is why healing is so important. And y'all, Will went, he definitely went to therapy. You can kind of tell in his book. But Chris Rock did him a favor by triggering him. Will really made an ass of himself. That lets him know he's got deeper work to do. Chris Rock actually gave him a gift. Maybe he's not as healed as he thought he was. And even in some of my stuff being triggered, the reason why we're here, triggers let you know you got more work to do. And he didn't want to look weak, which is why he went up there and hit Chris Rock. But I remember hearing from Dr. Stephanie Anderson basically saying that your strength is in your restraint. That if I am strong enough to hold myself back, that's where the real strength is. But I don't want to get off task. What is a trigger? I think triggers bring us feelings. There are times we get triggered. We're hurt, we're scared, we're sad. But when we have the feeling, we start believing a story about ourselves based on the feeling. Meaning, just because I feel hurt, now I believe that I'm weak. Dealing with triggers, in my opinion, is learning how to feel the feeling that matches that uncomfortable situation, but don't believe the story that the feeling is trying to tell you. Like, just because I feel alone does not mean I am. When I feel alone, then I start believing I'm worthless. I'm not enough. People don't care about me. People don't love me. Don't believe the lie. It's because the lie is what you're responding to. Like him hitting Chris Rock, probably believing that he's weak. That's the thing, that not even responding. That's what he is reacting to. Because a response would be, he's a comedian. Okay, that's what he does. But when you're unhealed, you get hijacked by your emotions. You get hijacked. That's what popping off and going off. Again, when I say whenever your behavior is hysterical, it is historical. the history has shown up and hijacked the situation. And then there's the guilt and the remorse, for what was done. Um, and the trigger comes out of, again, a wounding, a time that we felt alone or not enough. So we go through life saying, never again will anybody else make me feel that way. Well, just because they're doing something, you don't have to take on that they're making you feel a certain way. No, you are adopting the lie attached to the feeling. So I think sometimes it is about observing people as they observe you without internalizing what that means. Meaning, I see you making a statement or even a judgment, offering your opinion about what I'm doing, but I don't have to believe that. I don't have to believe what you're feeding me. And the only way that you really can trigger me is if there is some truth to it, If you believe I'm weak and I slick believe I'm weak too, then I got to have you. That's my own stuff. Triggers are all around us. Therapy and treatment doesn't stop you from being triggered. It's learning how to manage the trigger. And there are times that we believe if people would do just what we tell them to do, the way we tell them, then we would be okay. And when they don't, we get triggered. Well, that ain't your business. You can't control grown people. It is just gotta learn how to be sad that they won't do what I want them to do. Not starting to believe I'm not enough. I can't do anything right. Once you start believing the lie, that's your suffering. Feel the feeling. Don't believe the story is trying to tell you. At one time, maybe that story was true. At 9 years old, Will Smith was a weak little boy. He was supposed to be. He's a kid. You can't go, defend a big man. But now he's a grown man, good and grown, wealthy. And he got hijacked, in my opinion, by by some of that domestic violence. Now, here's the other piece, and I'm just going to go there. Women, when you have little kids, especially if you have a little boy, and you keep this grown man around that's abusing you and terrorizing the house, that little boy is internalizing. I'm not strong enough or big enough to take care of my mama. There's some research says by the time a child is 7 years old, they're already scripted. By the time a little boy is 7 years old, he already knows his mother is his first queen. In his mind, he's conditioned to protect her. But if there's a boyfriend or husband that's abusing you, abusing everybody else, it's sending the message to that little boy that he's weak, it's not enough. So then he's going to grow up. Nobody's going to punk it, like that again. I've had countless stories of helping men and little boys say, it's your mama that you're really mad at. Come on, let's just be real. Now, again, y'all, what I get, we do things that we wish we hadn't done, and I've had parents say he was paying the bills, he provided. I totally get that, but I need you to hear where your boy is coming from. But in Will Smith's book, his mom, that was Will's suffering. How can I still love my mom, and how can I still love my father? Yo, it's possible to still love a monster. It is possible to love a monster. I can say there's a part of me that will forever hate a part of you, but I'll never throw it all away. They're both true at the same time. They're both true at the same time. But because he could not protect his father, in my opinion, when Chris Rock stepped to him, I don't think anything could have stopped him, from going up there. But because that happened, and I've been sort of kind of doing, I guess, my research on Jada, because I didn't know Jada. I ain't watched Red Table. I don't know any of that. But with her still love Tupac and they throwing it in that man's face, she knows she wrong for that. Jada, sis, don't do that. Really. But because that happened, Will really might end up doing what he's got to do to take care of himself and exiting that relationship. I believe they had a trauma bond. You know, a lot of people have a trauma bond. I've been in a trauma bond, even in friendship. You know, you wounded, the other person wounded. They help you to feel good about yourself per se. So you get addicted to that, and you're still trying to get that back. And you even accept abuse, still trying to get, some of that, some of that back. I believe, but Will, that book, he did a lot of work on himself. Even writing that book was probably therapeutic. And then the humiliation she put him through with the entanglement. I don't know a whole lot about all of that. I thought they had an open marriage and that kind of stuff. But he was gonna blow. Y'all, person can only take so much. But that's what happened when you stay there too long. See, when you overstay, you know the situation is dead. You know it's time to go. Something's gonna blow. Something's gonna give. Something's gonna give. So this is a lot, that he's gonna have to clean up. And at the same time, I believe Chris Rock, gave him a gift. So I go back to when you do get triggered, you got to ask yourself, what story am I believing about myself based on how I feel right now? There are times that people will beat themselves up just because they feel hurt. Like when people say, I don't want people to see me cry. And I totally get people that believe that crying is weak, but I think crying is a way to get your needs met. When people say things like, I just want to go run and hide. No, what you really mean is, I wish somebody would come and find me. But when we get triggered and we get all swole, we're pushing people away. And I'm kind of jumping, but a big trigger, y'all probably would say that when we're triggered, we go straight to anger because anger feels strong. And people think that anger means get away from me. Anger actually means I need you to come close because you don't hear me. Anger is you don't get it. You don't get how hard it is for me right now. I'm trying to convey what it is that I need. Well, it's much easier for them to come a little close, y'all, if we drop down into the emotion to give them a chance to meet the need. But if you're all big and swollen and hollering and yelling like I used to do and I still do, I'm going to keep it real, it makes people stay away from you. And really all you want them to do is come close to you. So, you kind of end up doing this. And that is a trauma response. The only way we get our needs met are feelings. But our feelings have been manipulated since the beginning of time. The only way you know a baby is upset, baby's going to cry. If a baby has a need, it's going to cry. Somewhere along the line, we started growing up, somebody said, shut up, stop all that. So now if you're hurt, if you're scared, you've been taught now you better not show it. Or if a child falls and scrape his knee, mama's going to give you a lollipop. Now the kid got to lick the lollipop and act like his knee is not hurting anymore, to make mama think the lollipop worked. So his feelings are controlled. Our feelings have been manipulated. Y'all hear me say a lot. Counseling and therapy is not about muting your feelings, turning them off. It's about managing them. It's okay for the baby to cry if they hurt their knee. They hurt their knee. And, we'll say things like, crying makes me look weak. No, cussing and hollering and all that, that's your weakness. The most controlling person in the room is the most fearful person in the room, and that's why they're so big and hollering and regulating and all that. You're scared, and that's kind of the weakness. Now, if you calm down and say, man, this is a lot right here. I need some help, y'all. Just go on and admit it. A little bit too much. That's why I was getting ready to say, I need Kennedy here, y'all. I ain't gonna be able to do this. But now y'all coming in, but I'm on the wrong page. But please like my page by the time this is done. I think when I get triggered, if somebody does something and it triggers me, I start believing I am inadequate. I'm not enough. So I have to prove to them that I am enough. So my voice gets loud. Oh, you gonna hear me. Just because my voice loud, y'all, they still hadn't heard me. I mean, you do know that. So if they do something, and if I start believing I'm not enough, that's my stuff. That's not their stuff. I got a journey within. Why am I believing that I'm not enough? So I learned to up my verbiage without raising my voice. I don't always do that well. I'll pop back in a minute. Like, who you talking to? In a minute. There are times the person in front of me, that ain't who I'm talking to. I might be talking to somebody at Ripley High School. Because some of them teachers I couldn't stand. Been smart my whole life. Just my skin is chocolate. And some of the white ones always had me second guessing myself. Now I'm healing out loud a little bit. Y'all get where I'm coming from? So there are times that if you were white, you got to watch how you correct me, or I will get very small to make sure that you were okay. Because that came from my wounding. That was a lot of energy. Now, that's why I can talk about them. It's my channel. What are they going to do to me? I didn't bribe. And I'm peaceful that I ain't got to walk around, flying off all the time. We say hurt people hurt people. Hurt people out of protecting themselves hurt other people. It's me protecting myself. That's why I hurt you. Because I don't want you to see that I'm weak, that I'm scared and all that. So we'll rise up. Boom. That's what it is. Triggers are going to happen. Unpleasant feelings match unpleasant situations. But you do not have to believe the story attached to it. At 9 years old, I was weak. At 47, I can take care of myself. And I can say that still bothered me, and I am safe, and I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to take care of myself. And it still bothered me. But once I rise up, that's an indicator. Healed wounds don't leak infection. And the thing, too, when people say, well, it happened to me, and that didn't bother me, look at me, that's your infection leaking right there. That's how I know it did. That's how I know it did. If it's healed, you're not going to be leaking all over the place. And it's not up to other people to do that for us. We got to make a commitment to do the work. Don't give people that much power to make, you're always popping off. I used to tell the kids, at Lakeside that were easily triggered. I would tell them, if me and you walk in to get a job, and the two of us for the job, and I know you are easily triggered, I'm just going to whisper and act like I'm talking about you. You're going to pop off. Job already mine. Does that make sense what I'm saying, y'all? As an adult, it's learning to own when things sting, And sometimes people hurt us, y'all. They don't intend to hurt us. If they didn't intend to, allow them to be able to repair. Now, I heard that Chris Rock meant to. Oh, I heard that he knew they were sick and he did whatever he did anyway. I don't know. And if he did, he was wrong for that, but Will still was wrong. Will Smith was wrong for all the right reasons. He was wrong for all the right reasons. The unhealed, the woundedness in the past causes us to show up big. Heal that stuff so that little person in us can rest and be well. And I only wanted to be on here at 7:30. It is 7:32. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I see some of the comments. Kennedy and I will get all of this worked out because I do want to do some more, stuff where I can answer questions. I do want to announce that I am planning a trauma intensive weekend. I'm going to accept just what I would do at Lakeside. I'm going to bring it to my office. I'm about 90% sure that that's going to happen. And it's going to happen the week of Easter, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Being able to spend that time, with me to do some work. And whoever registers for that, that'll kind of be my test group. And my rates will be extremely low because I also want your feedback. My rates will not stay low because I know my worth, y'all. I promise you I do. I know what you're getting from me. I know what you're getting from me. But because everybody cannot go or cannot afford me, I love doing this stuff live. Y'all, I was doing 9 groups a week, talking to 180, people a week. I can't just turn it off. So y'all just kind of my audience. But I will make all of those flyers and those announcements that will be there, because I really want to keep doing this work. I'm 4 minutes over, but in the comments, this is what I need. I don't mind letting you know what I need. If this helped you in any way, if it raised your awareness, this is what this made me think about. This is what I can do differently. Can y'all please leave that in the comments or message for me? If I help you, leave that in the comments. If there is something I said that you didn't like, message me. Don't come for me. For real. Because don't come for me. But if it's something you did not like that I could do differently or better, put it in a private message. I want to hear it. But when I look on this right here, I need positivity so I can keep going. Because I'm out of my element. I'm a good therapist, but this technical stuff, I'm struggling. So it makes me question myself, So let me know. Keep going, Kelly. That did help me. And the stuff you didn't like, put it in the instant message. Because if you put it on my page, I'm going to wear you